News flash, it's Tuesday, and we are back for some Omni X-men. That means not just me, but that means the owner of Club No Good himself.
Hey, what's going on, John? Dude, I don't know why it feels like it's been a long time, but we've been on track here this past week. So I don't know why it feels like
really good about staying up. We have not taken that many breaks.
No.
And it's gonna be harder next season when the omnibus is like twice the size.
Oh gosh, yeah, you're right. You're
a
right.
lot of reading.
Yeah, man. Well, I am pumped, man. I'm pumped for this issue, and curious to hear what your thoughts are, and our special guests as well.
I was gonna say, not only are we talking about an X-Men annual here, we have a pretty special guest who not a big X-head, not a big X-Men fan. I think I might have conned him into thinking we were talking Batman tonight. But, it's not true. It's Bearded Comic Bro. What's up?
Hey,
when you sent me the message like, "Hey, do you want to come on Tuesday to talk X-Men?" I'm like, "Did you mean to say like, were you trying to hit chaos up? Like you...
Wrong guy.
Here's the thing. Annuals are like notoriously dangerous. Like you roll the dice when you read an annual, you don't know what you're going to get. It doesn't matter the publisher at all. It's buck wild. It's the Wild West when you're talking about annuals. And I thought, who better than the Bearded Comic Bro to go back to 1981 with Marty McFly. We're going to go back to 1981.
Yes.
We're going to try this out and be like, time machine this sucker.
Dude, I told Justin, and I do have to preface, like, I come off as like I don't like X-Men, but I really do. I mean, I grew up on the animated series, like that was my show. I was telling Justin when I got back into collecting comics, I picked up Batman, and one of the first other comics besides that was, I think it was Uncanny X-Men run at the time, right before they blew everything up. It was, like Cyclops and Wolverine were hunting around to see like who killed somebody, and I enjoyed it, and then everyone's like, "No, this is garbage and trash," and they had to blow up the continuity and make Hickman come in. And I'm like,
I was gonna say that was the X-Men Red and
before.
Gold.
I was like, well, I don't know, so I don't remember. I was like, Hickman hurts my head, so I was glad we're not reading Hickman.
Well, you might not be so glad here in a little bit when we dive into this, because this was quite an issue overall.
The other thing I was going to add too is I think like Greg, I know we've clearly hung out plenty of times streaming, but 2 times that really stand out to me, one being tonight. The second time was on your channel as we talked about replacing X-Men characters.
Yeah.
And I'm like, man, for a guy who it really isn't about the X-Men, I've streamed with him a fair amount of times talking X-Men. So
listen, right? It happens. So
love it.
And I brought John on for that too.
Hey,
yeah.
I'm really doing well on that show. I need to come back around for I
have an idea for one, and it was someone that was like, "Oh, do this topic." I was like, "Okay," and I keep like, "Hey, who else should we get there?" I don't know. And then like, when do you want to? I don't. So I'm just gonna blow that up, and we got to do it again because I love the who you gonna cast.
It's fun. It's a lot of fun. Yeah. So if you guys don't follow the Bearded Comic Bro, the link to his channel is down below. You should check it out. You should subscribe.
Yep,
it's right down below. And then next week we're back over on KnowGood Comics. His link is down below as well. So this is one of those back and forth kind of deals. So be ready for that.
Oh yeah.
At the end of the show, we always end with trivia. So stick around. We're going to ask questions about last week's issue 150 and the show we did over on Justin's channel. We got trivia questions, the first 2 correct answers, and the funniest answer as chosen by our illustrious guest are all getting raffle entries into our giveaway. So you got to be there. You got to make the big guy laugh and see what you can get.
All right, this is gonna be good. I feel like I'm the prime to make me laugh when it comes to X-Men stuff. And it makes I didn't even realize the channel we were on, but it makes sense because I didn't wait backstage very long. That we
I was gonna say
got in.
I got in right away. Like the club was like, "Hey, come on in."
I mean, you should know there's
not a big 20. Like it was all good. Like it was all
there's not a big line to get into this club. People are like, I thought that club closed.
Yeah, you guys open?
Still open?
It's kind of like coming out of COVID. Like, is the dining room open? We don't know. Like, I'll go
safe
drive
to go
through if we
in?
need to, but like, is John?
He still has a channel, right? Does he do stuff? Yeah, you're all here. Let's say hello to who is here. A Magic Lasso. He says hello to everybody. Diana Ross. He's been working with Marvel to cast the new Fantastic Four movie, but every day it's one thing or another.
You're gonna have to try better, Magic Lasso, if you want to make me laugh.
We got the Jackson Roy Kirk here. What is going on, Jackson Roy Kirk? We got Brian LCS. What is going on, Brian?
Hey, what's up,
Good
Brian?
to see you. We got back-to-back issues. That's Paul. What's going on, Paul? Good to see you. I was watching you and Morbius as I was driving home from the shop today. So I hope you're doing well. And at my shop, by the way, I got this book. I got this Wolverine issue 8.
Nice.
Yeah. I had gotten this fun variant, and I thought, at some point I got to get the original. And lo and behold, my LCS got some books back from CGC, and I had one of those in it, so I bought it.
Perfect timing.
Yeah. Kismet, meant to be. We kick off each of these shows with a little chance to run down our quickest thoughts about the book before we dive into the minutia. Give a chance for everybody on the panel to give it a CGC grade, scoring it out of 10.0, but we've never really gotten all the way to 10. I don't think very often. So right off the bat, Justin, I'm throwing you in the hot seat. What were your thoughts on X-Men Annual number 5 and the team up with the Fantastic Four?
Yeah, so ever since we started reading the annuals, starting off with 3 and going into 4, and any other giant size or anything like that, I feel like they've all been really epic, really fun. And I will say that this issue picks up and continues on with those feelings. I loved it. I really enjoyed it. I've said this before about the other ones too, but it's like a movie. It's like a miniature movie, and just like the different acts that it has, and just different segments. So I love that we get some Fantastic Four, which I haven't really read much Fantastic Four, especially from this era. So it was nice to kind of get introduced to those characters. We get Arkon back, my man Arkon. So we're familiar with him now. We those traveling bolts that he has.
Are we
know
familiar with
a little bit. And so, overall, it's a lot of fun. I like that we got to see a little bit of the Thing, kind of, flexing and showing off some strength along with Colossus. So, overall, I'm going to give this a 9. A 9.0 because I enjoyed it that much. And again, I think it's just these annuals. I know you're saying like some of them are really great, some might not be. And so I feel like I haven't really crossed those really terrible ones per se yet. So, I don't know if that's the case with other series or not, but for this X-Men stuff so far, I've really enjoyed all these annuals. So, I'm going to go with a 9.
So there you go. And Old Wolf, he is here. It is true. He read an X-Men book, and he's going to tell us his thoughts right now. So Greg, overview thoughts on this issue, and how would you score it?
Yeah, real quick. We read X-Men Annual number 5, correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay, because I think Justin and I read completely 2 different books. I just wanted to make sure, like, I'm like, I was like, John, screenshot the cover, like the cover which says "Ooh la la."
Badoon.
Ooh la la, Badoon. Like,
what's up, Simon?
I don't know if it's, I said, like, I don't dislike X-Men as much as I play it that I do. This was a trudge to get through for me a little bit. And I don't know if it's, I wasn't familiar with the characters. Obviously I knew the X-Men and the Fantastic Four, these, amateur Swamp Thing monsters. Like, I don't know if they're new. I don't know, and Akron.
Arkon,
there's a city called Akron, and I kept confusing the two in Ohio. I'm like, what? Like, and so I wanted to keep calling them Akron, and I'm like, that's not accurate. But
so good.
For me, I didn't
let loose,
get,
brother. Let loose.
I didn't get I didn't get anything out of it. Like, I didn't go like, oh, this was a lot of fun. Like, there were more like cringy moments. There were more like just frustrations that I didn't enjoy the book very much. And I went in very optimistic, like, oh, it's an annual. I don't need to know a lot. And I didn't feel confused. There were parts where I'm like, is this? I knew enough.
Yeah, who's that guy?
Yeah, I knew enough. But the premise just seemed blah to me of like, oh, there's a person who can only see these creatures with her special eyesight gun, like that. Then like, oh, they kidnap 3 of the Fantastic Four. And I'm like, really? Like, these schmucks got them? Like, really? Like, come on, And then it felt weird going throughout. And we'll get into some of those reasons why I didn't enjoy it as much as I was hoping to. I literally, I made a post last night that I was like, watching this movie and, reading this book. They keep saying Stargate. And I was like, made me
Yes.
want to watch Stargate. I literally paused reading the book so I could watch Stargate. And
The movie,
and
I'm
like,
assuming, not the show, right?
the movie. And John was like, oh, I'm so excited like for you to finish this book. I'm like, please no, like this was not a joke. Like I literally paused reading.
I knew it was. I knew it was serious. I didn't
was
doubt
like,
it.
and I'm like, I went back and watched freaking James Spader, Kurt Russell, and Clint Stewart's in that movie.
Yeah, he is.
I forgot he was in it. Like, and I had a blast watching that movie. And I was like,
great
I
movie.
wish this X-Men annual was more like Star.
All right, so give it a score out of a CGC score. What do you got?
It is. I don't grade books, so I don't really know like what an accurate grading is. It's
You could consider like a 10 is an A plus, a 9 is an A minus, B, a 8 is an A, a B minus.
let's go 6.5. Is that off-white or is that cream pages?
I mean, it depends on how you use it, I suppose.
Yeah, let's go cream 6.5.
Right.
That's
So
fair.
I think it's gonna stun the chat and Justin that I agree with Greg, and I really hate this issue. Like
Whoa.
and I'm gonna try to sway Justin a little on it as we talk
All right.
about it.
Yeah.
I feel like this one, it's I do agree with Justin that the action sequences are a lot of fun. Like stuff blows up, big guys punch stuff. Like it's a lot of fun. Guys with sharp things, cut things. It's very exciting. I think the plot is beyond nonsensical. Like they have a weapon that in one shot takes out the thing and they never use it again. Like every one of their little guys was carrying it around. How are they not prepared to fight the X-Men? There are so many moments that drive me crazy in this issue. And on top of which, this book feels like it's from the 50s in the way it treats the women. Like this is beyond like, it's like old fashioned that they're super sexist. Like this book is like, wow, Chris Claremont, you blew it, buddy. You just blew it. It is like you said, cringy, Greg. There were moments in this that made me go, I got to check the date on this. Was this like 1970? This was 1981.
Yeah.
There are quotes from Sue Storm that I'm like, she's the best. How do the editors at Marvel at this in 1981 still not know that Sue Storm is the best member of the Fantastic Four? Like they treat her horribly in this book. She is always like damsel in distress. I just don't know what to do. My dinner is ruined.
I slaved over a show for you all, and you didn't come.
Is she a 50s housewife still? Holy crap! Like the Marvel editors in 1981 still have not figured out that she is far superior to all the other members of the Fantastic Four. It's shocking. So I am very frustrated with Chris Claremont writing in this issue. Really not his best work. So I'm in the 7.0 range, not far from Greg. But there were so many pages when I was like,
let's just say there's a lot of spine takes on this.
Really? So I understand now. Admittedly, I totally understand, and I have a soapbox for this issue. But like, I understand that like you have to understand. Oh, this book is from a certain era. Like this is 81. This was not like 1968. Like this is 81. Like I don't know how much slack I'm willing to cut Chris Claremont when he writes Sue Storm like a 50s housewife. Like that's a little bit outside the norm there for me.
You're getting like an echo, by the way.
I did notice that. Yeah.
It kind of just came in out of nowhere.
Is it John or me?
I'm wearing headphones, and so is he. So it's definitely on you. So sorry, but
Yeah,
it's all
not
right.
there.
We're gonna roll, and I'm gonna jump the slideshow. And Perry's in the chat. What's going on, Perry? Sorry, I didn't say hello to Toby. What's going on, Toby? I didn't say hello
my
to
mic farther away.
X11 Bravo. What's going on, Bravo?
X11.
Jackson Roy Quirk mentioning that Badoon are bigger foes in the future Guardians comics. So there you go.
Oh,
81 is like a bazillion years ago. Perry, don't you dare! Don't you dare! Lasso says, I bought this off the rack because it was exciting to see the team up, but reading it wasn't that great. Let's find out what's going on, though. So let's talk about the cover, though. How is this cover working for you, Justin? You got the X-Men, got the Fantastic Four, you got these monsters in the all around. What's going on for you?
I did not like the cover. I didn't. It was obviously very loud, a lot going on. I also just didn't like how. I just didn't like the artwork. Looking at Storm, like I was looking up close and just seeing some of the faces that are drawn. Wolverine, I don't know what's going on with his face either. It kind of looks like a foot, kind of.
Pose is a little weird too.
Yeah,
it's like all twisted up.
Yeah. I don't know if it's by Brent Anderson. Okay, so he's also the penciler.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely not a fan of the cover.
Magic Lasso saying, how many covers do you get that say ooh la la?
That's true.
One too many right now.
What's up, JD? Good to see you, man. All right, so Greg, what are your thoughts on this cover?
Well, shockingly, I'm gonna disagree with Justin. I actually liked it. There's a lot going on. I think now that you're mentioning it, Sue Storm, not Sue Storm, but Storm looks a little off. And so does Wolverine's face, but I'll chalk that up to the perspective of Mr. Fantastic's hand. There's enough of that depth perception, where I'm that looks dope, of him stretching and coming up. I think they've spent more time on the Fantastic Four characters and then put the X-Men in, because it was almost I don't ever get to draw Fantastic Four characters. I'm sure he did because it's Marvel, but I almost he's ooh, I got to make sure I get these guys really good because no one's going to notice if I'm not up to par with my Wolverine. Colossus has the head shape of the action figure of Robin from the Batman Returns with the flat top, I mean, is that Kitty Pryde? Is that what she used to look like?
Well, I mean, at different eras. What's up, Ignacio?
I mean, she looks kind of like a hunchback, so I get that. But so now that I'm focusing in, I'm the art is suspect a little bit here, but I like all that's going on, and there's enough going on that it made me miss that the faces weren't up to par.
Sure.
Yeah.
And for me, it's very busy. I mean, you got to have both teams on the cover. I don't know that I get much from it, so I'm not in love with the cover. It wouldn't make me buy it, but it's also not so bad that I'd be I'm not picking this up. It's somewhere in the middle for sure. Chet is back. I've missed you, brother. I haven't seen you enough in the chat.
There he is.
He says annual 3, 4, and then 5. This cover looks like it's heroin inspired. The art. Ugh. Well, we get it. We get you, Chet. So let's dive onto the inside here, and this is the worst parts for me. Firstly, you got Reed. He's got a pipe. He's smoking a pipe. He looks like a 50s dad. And then you've got Sue coming in and just complaining. She's wearing an apron. These guys have their own tower. They got all this money. She even has a food machine, and she's did you not? Oh, boys, did you mess up again? Oh my gosh. She's complaining about, oh, Ben Grimm, I sent you on a mission. Johnny, how dare you? And oh my gosh, dinner is ruined, and I'm so mad at you guys. It's just she's not their mom. Why is she written like she's their mom? It's horrible.
And then she's like, gentlemen, you guys just eat pizza, and things yeah, that sounds good, Sue. Why don't you order us some pizza?
Yes, exactly. Ben Grimm's been go order us some.
Let's go snap. You're missing a snap.
Oh my gosh, it's so bad. It's so bad. It's cringy in all the wrong ways, because I'm I love the character of Sue Storm. She's easily the best character in that team, and they just make her seem like their mom, and she's useless, and they're the cool ones.
I mean, she does have the best slight at someone. I don't think anyone still calls someone order it yourself, you Philistine. Is that really oh, you just call me a Philistine?
It just, for me, it just feels so clearly like a man writing a woman. For me, it does not live up to the stuff that I know Chris Claremont is capable of writing really great women characters, and this does not feel like he's up to that par. Sorry, Justin, we haven't given you a chance. What did you think about these introduction to the FF here?
Yeah, so I mean, I think I was kind of just reading through this to get into the story more, because I definitely a lot of this stuff didn't necessarily cross my mind, or I don't know. I guess I was just really just trying to get into the story. I know I did stop halfway through because I started reading it and it was late, and I picked up later when you
stopped to watch Stargate too, didn't
after
you?
Yeah, you did. after the action started. So I wonder if, because normally I like to read an issue twice before we do this. I technically only read it technically 1.5 times, because earlier today I went back through the second half of the book. Sure. So even just hearing some of this and going back through some of these details, I mean, it definitely didn't jump out in the same way, but I mean, kind of looking back at this, it's not great, not a great look. And definitely, I mean, Chris has been much better at I mean, well, like you said, I mean, this is just not like Claremont's writing in the sense of.
I mean, we've seen the way he writes Jean. I think it's been far stronger. I think in general, the way he writes Storm, way stronger. Kitty Pryde's a teenage girl, and I think it's fine. He gives her the teenage qualities, but this is not on par with what he can do.
Yeah, I wonder if it at all had to do with. Well, I mean, either way, it's not right. But I just wonder if it had to do with that he just never really wrote like the FF before, and I don't know if
that
did he not do his homework. You know?
Yeah, editorial was probably this is the Sue Storm archetype and way she's been forever, and we're not willing to change it. But it was like, come on, do better.
Yeah.
I also love how like John and I bash it and like, oh now tell us why you like this so much, Justin.
I mean, I will get into
like,
the
it's a 9.0, and we're like, this is the most misogynistic book ever. Like, but tell us why you love it so much, Justin. Let's make your girlfriend read this. Like,
not this part.
So Sue Storm gets a report. There's a police problem, and of course, that's when Reed Richards rolls in and is like, "Oh, did I do something wrong? I'm sorry." And I just feel I had to get that Joey Tribbiani. I'm sorry. I'm not even sorry. Like, it doesn't come off as genuine. It's quickly like into, hey, let's go be superheroes and forget about all this dinner problem stuff. And let's go. And they go rushing off to fight what is a really flimsy setup for me. You have a Shi'ar Galaxy woman running down the street, costume torn, carrying a special gun that, as Greg mentioned, allows her to see the invisible lizard monkeys that are chasing her, and she's firing at them, and nobody else can see, so it looks like she's just shooting blindly into the city, and the team has to try to like stop her, but of course the bad guys are like right there, but nobody knows that they're right there. How do you feel, Justin? The mysterious villains and side characters here.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like it makes sense in that, they think that she's attacking random people in the city. And I don't know, with these kind of books, and especially aliens, I mean, you just don't know what you're going to get. So I don't count anything out, especially when the Shi'ar are involved. So I was curious to see like who she was more of, or like kind of, I guess, what role she was going to play more. But yeah.
Too bad, because I'm gonna just move us forward a slide. She dead. They killed her. She lasted like 5-6 panels. She's dead. Yeah. And not only did they shoot her and nobody noticed that they shot her, or they're like, where'd that come from? Then they all get shot. Very quickly, Thing, Human Torch, Reed Richards, all out of commission, and Sue creates a force bubble that allows her to be safe, and she can now see through the gun that she was holding and picked up that there are monsters there that the lady was shooting at. So she maybe understands the plot a little bigger. But I do think the other three FF clearly coming off as useless here in the first 6 pages versus Sue. And she gets no credit for being the only one to survive this attack.
Well, you talk about flimsy. You look at the panel right before where on the last page, they literally draw in laser bolts being shot at this female, but supposedly no one else can see these people, but she's shooting up stuff. Like, you're telling me this Fantastic Four can't see the lasers that we clearly can see that are drawn in, that are just randomly lasers are being shot at them? Like, it was like, it was a stretch to get it to where they needed to go.
He was hit by 3 beams. That's what it was. They shot him 3 times. That's what took him down. She went to the same salon as Lelandra. I mean, yes, we know this is the headdress of the Shi'ar Empire.
Yeah.
Yeah. So here we are on the street, and Sue Storm survives, and I'm sorry, this police officer, this kills me. So the police officer runs up. He sees nobody else except because the bad guys took the 3 FF members and left Sue, thinking, I don't know, she's not important. Whatever. And they see her holding the gun, and they were called to an emergency where a woman was firing. So then they're like, these people vanished into the street, and this woman looks dead. You with the gun, freeze. and then she's like, I'm Sue Richards. I'm officer. I'm one of the Fantastic Four. He's like, that doesn't cut no ice with me, honey. Cripes. She disappeared too.
I didn't understand that.
Do better is well. I'm just. Come on, Claremont, do better.
I just didn't understand why he. Yeah, I mean, he just excused
She's
her as
literally wearing the
Fantastic Four.
superhero uniform, and as Reed mentioned, they're like blocks from the giant Fantastic Four tower. He doesn't know who she is. He's never heard of her.
Yeah, I mean, the way I took that was that the cop's an idiot.
Yes, I mean, clearly, I think there's so many better
Right.
ways to do this, right? Rookie cop, like this is your beat. You're right around the corner from the giant building with the big old 4 on it, the one that's on her shirt, like that one. Do better. So then she sneaks off because she heard just enough from these aliens about Professor Xavier for her to know, oh, I better go get my son because I can't leave him alone. And then I got to go find Charles Xavier. This setup kills me. It's painful.
Well, we're a fourth of the way through this book, and clearly not showing a 9.0. I'm just saying. So this last
don't be shaming him. You know, he can enjoy it too. There's definitely things to enjoy. For me, the setup is not it. The setup is not it.
You know, the action.
I'm shaming him. It's okay.
It's definitely the action that we get into next that really some of my favorites.
Well then let's move along because now we get over to some of the panels I really like in the artwork. You get the dream sequence from Storm, who is having some nightmares, remembering the annual previous to this, where we had met Arkon and sort of battled. And she's remembering some of these things, but also having some new sort of visions about this world that they had visited once before, remembering and having all these visions, and then wakes up in the middle of the night, goes downstairs, only to have another Storm burst in, Sue Storm, and she's got little baby Richards with her, and she brings him in, and then they all get together and put on their pajamas and have a little pajama party. I thought it was hilarious that you've got Colossus in PJs, you've got Nightcrawler in PJs, you got everybody in PJs, and then you've got Wolverine and Cyclops, and they're in like khakis and jeans and collars. Like, who invited these guys? It's a pajama party, Logan.
They didn't get that. Yeah,
He definitely wasn't in PJs though before the PJ party.
Shame on him.
Logan always trying to.
Storm definitely wasn't.
I do think Claremont was worn out after writing issue 150. Didn't have anything left for the annual. Sorry, somebody said issue 148. Were we asking about a certain issue? Was Claremont? Yes, might have been 148, but I mean 150 was the last one we just read that he had written. So what did you think of the pajama party there, Justin?
So I mean, I like that stuff. I like kind of seeing the team that they're not just constantly at work or battling or whatever. It just reminds me of like scenes of them playing baseball, in some of the earlier issues that we've read and stuff like that. So I like that they kind of had a little moment to come together, even though it wasn't necessarily a happy moment per se. Right. I also just love the action sequence when I flip this page and just see, I'm like, whoa, what is happening right now? Yeah.
These panels, the dream.
Yeah. And just going back to everything that we do know about Arkon and things like that. And I do like the drawings of like, Storm's face there, like blown up the way it is, and then also her like setting up the wind. It's like the smaller picture that you have there, where you see her hands really like casting a wind spell. Like, love those panels. Absolutely awesome. And then just to see, Sue Storm like kind of burst into the door here. I mean, I like this whole kind of the direction that it's going into.
Pajamazons. That's pretty funny. Pajamazons. Greg, how do you feel about the meeting of the Storms?
Yeah. So I'm assuming Arkon and Stu. I'm gonna keep messing up Sue and
Storm. Yeah.
So Storm and Arkon were a thing in the previous issue because
they didn't actually kiss, but they certainly were. I mean, this was
in that panel. His arms around her, like he's protecting her.
Yeah, they had like a thing, without actually like, not
was it one of the will they, won't they things?
Like, I mean, basically. Okay.
I mean, I like what Justin said about how it's like, it's cool to see them outside of their, fighting and they're, just normal people. I can't, and I don't read enough X-Men. I can't get over what John pointed out though. why the freak are Cyclops and Wolverine like, oh, listen, let's get out of bed. They were at the club and they just got home. I mean, that's the only reason they have to.
No, they sleep. Clearly, they sleep in the nude. They don't own pajamas.
But even that,
they just put on their gear.
Why would he not have like on a white t-shirt and like a pair of shorts? He's
Better
not wearing
question.
Slacks. Why would he put on slacks and a button-down shirt? And Wolverine.
Alternative question though, why is Logan smoking a cigarette right next to Franklin Richards?
At 3 in the morning. I'm assuming it's like 3 or 2 in the morning. Like, oh, let me get a cigarette.
I gotta light up.
I wouldn't put it past Wolverine. This is just what he does. This is how he is.
It's no sandwich.
Yeah. No, he's
last week he got a sandwich in the middle of a flight to attack Magneto. He went and got a sandwich.
Greg, he is a loose cannon in these early issues. You can get anything from him.
You don't know. You just don't know. All right, so the team is trying to decide what to do. Sue is very much the like, oh, woe is me, please. Like even that shot of her walking on Storm. Please, I had to carry my son all the way from the mansion. All right, let's move on to Kitty Pryde's new outfit.
Yes.
Kitty Pryde's like, sweet, we get outfits, and she comes rolling in with yet another atrocious teen created and crafted. So, Greg, previous to this, we've had 2 other times where she's designed her own costume to mortifying effect. What do you think of this one, Greg? What do you think of this costume?
I mean, it's bougie, so like, if she, listen, rock what you want to rock, girl. If you're protecting the world and you're fighting crime, you do it how you want to do it. It's almost like the flamboyant like WWE superstars, like where they like got the robes and the, like something. You got to own it. If she owns it, go for it. Good for you, Kitty.
Right. What about you, Justin? I'm sorry, we got another costume here.
Yeah. Good, Greg. You were gonna say something else?
I mean, I was just like, it's not like it's any more absurd than half of their costumes. So like, why? I don't know. Like, maybe she's got a little bit too much gems on her. Like, she doesn't need the
you don't like Colossus's like mid-thigh boot,
but what else?
Yeah.
After the outfits in 150, she thought this might be more acceptable. I mean, did she?
So what I love about this is that this is who Kitty is. This is, and it's, she's 13, right? This is, when I was a teenager, like, wanted to dress up and be, impressed or show off in front of friends in whatever way I could. Like that was where my head was. So I think this is very accurate to kind of where she should.
Oh, totally. It's what I like about how Claremont writes her is he doesn't hesitate to make her an awkward teen.
Right. She's not just this adult automatically or whatever.
13 in this?
I think she's like 13, 14.
Or maybe 14. Yeah.
Ugh.
Yeah. Now you got some cringy vibes because you know what's coming later.
She's 13 in this?
Yeah. He knows it's coming later.
I changed my answer. I don't like this at all.
What better than her outfit later on? I know. We also get Sue Storm with the line of the night. Cyclops, shouldn't we call on the Avengers?
Yeah.
I love it. Sue's like, maybe some Avengers would be good. Can we get some Avengers? Can we get some of those guys?
The heroes.
Sadly, no go. But we do have some awesome Arkon lightning bolts, and they're gonna send the team back, and we're gonna rescue everybody.
Yeah, those things are very convenient. We need to get some of those, John.
Right? Yeah, I'd love to have a couple of those. Just zip over to wherever I want to be. So, boom, they vanish and they reappear in the Sundered Realm, and they are welcomed by Sasha from previous stories. We had met her, and instantly everybody's really dramatic. You got Cyclops comforting Sue, who thinks everybody's dead. You got Sasha crying about, the life that she's living. There's a lot of sadness, a lot of heavy things going on as she sort of recounts what's been happening since the X-Men were here last time, and the monsters, the Badoon, who came and have sort of taken over Arkon's realm here. How did you like all this backstory setup of? Because we had Justin and I, last time we remembered everything was happy, everything was great. Arkon was going to be the ruler, was going to be working really well. Justin, what do you think of this sort of transition? All of a sudden now, things haven't been going well.
Yeah, no, this was definitely a sad moment here, and especially kind of where we left off last. Seeing this place was like kind of like a big party, location. So to see that a majority of it's gone and destroyed, and yeah, a lot of people are either dead or captured. Definitely sad. I was a little confused with the exchange with Wolverine there, and Sasha, just like, I mean, she was like in tears and stuff, but was he trying to put her down, or he was just being himself? Was he just being Wolverine there and just being cold?
I think he was just, as someone who hasn't read recently, I would say he was just being the archetype of Wolverine, of just like
Just
saying
being,
how it is. Like, listen,
yeah,
darling, there's no hope. Like, and I think I would say it as someone who's not reading a lot. Storm's comment to Wolverine came off of like this is token Wolverine. Like, it's just like, as ever, Logan, you are the soul of tack. Like seriously, like, oh, this is classic. So like for me, it came off of like, this is just who Wolverine is. Like, he's like, he tells you how it is, and you either love it or you hate. He's a lady fantastic. She'll tell you how it is, and you either love it or you hate it. But you get what you get. Like, right? Like,
shout out to Caroline.
Yeah.
That's so good. Well, let's move along to this time where they come up with a plan. They got this amazing plan where they're gonna. I can't even get through this with a straight face. They're gonna wear disguises, and they're gonna sneak in. The disguises for the women are, if you can picture a more colorful slave Leia. We got two of those. But we're going to wear cloaks over the top so you can't really tell. The guys' costumes are just wear the cloak. They're not going to wear the slave costume underneath. What the heck? Like, how is this the plan? The women have to dress up slutty under their cloaks, but the guys just wear their costumes under the cloak.
I want to agree with you, John, on this, but have you watched Olympic beach volleyball? Like, in 2020, like the guys wear like long shorts and like cut out like and tank top t-shirts, and the girls still are wearing booty shorts.
Yep.
So like I agree, it's cringy. I'm just saying, like, I don't know if like part of our culture has like grown. I as I'm thinking, like, maybe I can't like rip on Claremont too much on this. I'm going to, but maybe I shouldn't. But because I don't think things have changed.
They're also just like, hey, you guys. You don't have to wear any secret costumes. You just sneak up and smash some stuff. Ladies, get skanky. Here we go.
And then it was the word bubbles right after it, that because on mine I watched it on digital readers. So I got I got him pulling off the cloaks, and then boom.
You're talking about this page where they are taking the costumes off.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Because Wolverine and Nightcrawler, they're like, we're not even gonna wear costumes, and the girl gets to wear armor, and we're gonna just go kill a bunch of things.
No, you were on the previous page.
Okay, where they pull off the girls' costumes.
Yeah, because when in that panel where Sue and Storm are standing there, like Sue literally says, like, if they touch me again, I've never felt anything so repulsive.
Yeah,
like there was no need for that to be there in my mind. Like, why? I focus on that panel, and then I flip back to like, did I skip a page? Like, did
you miss the groping is what you're saying.
Did Frog Boy grope him? Like, and I missed this? Like, and there was no need for it. Like, it did nothing. It added nothing to the story except for going, holy cow, this feels overtly sexual. Like that, like they got felt up in an uncomfortable way.
I mean, it's weird. It's a weird addition.
It was a weird, like, what did that add and why? Because no one else, like you said, were getting felt up to, underneath their costumes, and like it added nothing to the story. It was weird. It was weird.
Yeah, I mean, the whole thing with the aliens in general being, I mean, they're basically just creeps, right? I mean, these aliens are.
We're not given any backstory on them. No information on these guys. We just know. But they're ugly.
They're ugly, but then they're interested in women, and that they're like, they'll only let you in essentially if you're some attractive woman or whatever, Well,
because they even say that, they're like, well, yeah, and then boom, they go, are they going to entertain us?
Yeah, I was surprised to see that. Yeah,
like what does that add to this? even if you are reading this in 1981 as a horny teenage boy, and like this is why you're writing it, like it doesn't do anything to fit that need. So like, why does it like? All it does is make you go back and go, this is cringe.
It's just unnecessary.
Yeah,
and the whole thing ends incredibly fast because you get to the next page and they're already just like, let's just screw it. Why are we hiding? Let's just beat the crap out of these guys. And they instantly just start using their powers. So like, what was the point? It didn't even get them anywhere.
Well, she screwed up and she couldn't hold her or control her anger when she saw her husband
when they mentioned Reed.
Yeah, when she saw Reed on screen or whatever it was, like her emotions for it. I don't know, like the way I saw this, like the aliens are scumbags. They're very bad people, or aliens, or whatever they are. It made me not like them even more so, which is what we're supposed to, right? Feel that way about these villains. So I mean, even though it is certainly random, like I guess like it is possible for these like sexist aliens who are obsessed with women, it can be a thing, and we just don't, me the reader is just like, wow, these guys are scumbags, like I hope the X-Men take them out, you know what I mean? That's how I read it. I was like, these are not good aliens, clearly, and they need to be taken down. So hopefully, my people, these mutants will will do that. And then like I said, I think that them kind of loose, I mean, them essentially still thrown into the fight is just because Sue couldn't handle it when she saw, she couldn't, which is understandable. I mean, she sees her man and knows that they're all in pain and being tortured or whatever. So she's gonna react. Yeah. It's hard.
I love the action when they react. I love seeing all the aliens in black silhouette and Storm's like whipping them all around. Like that's all cool. I just feel like just balls out, like just go for it. I don't feel like they needed all the setup.
Yeah, I mean, I will say this. I agree with you, Justin, that like I feel like maybe it feels weird to me because it's aliens. Because like, Justin, we were on a show where we were talking about the comic Southern Bastard, right? And it was like, if you would put this in that context of like, the hillbilly hig, like you're like, it wouldn't be as cringy because you're like, oh, I expect that out of that.
Right.
So maybe I'm just holding my aliens to a higher standard than I am with people. I don't know. Maybe. I'm like, like aliens should be better than people for my
no, but that's a good point though. I mean, it's very much like Southern Baptist. I mean, it's very much in that same mindset. If these were just, I don't know, folks down south or humans or whatever, like it's just the idea that these are, bad individuals.
I've just lost like 8 followers who are all down the south, like screw you, beard.
Yeah, what do you say?
He's like, only here for have good aliens on this show again.
Be careful what you wish for. All right, so then we get into the fight here, and Logan had, I mean, if I go back like to here, Logan had a talk with Nightcrawler about should they just kill these guys. Logan, of course, is pro killing them all. Nightcrawlers, of course, there's a better way. I do love this as yet another conversation between the two of them.
Totally.
Really, the characters setup here between the two of them, that stuff really, really worked for me. And it leads into this page where you get to see Nightcrawler working his darndest to do all these crazy flips. I don't know what Logan's doing. I guess Logan's just watching. Like Logan could have easily just punched a few with adamantium's knuckles and just like knocked a few out, but he's just like, I guess, watching.
No, he was still undercover. Him and the girl were like kind of going slower because he was able to get ahead. Nightcrawler. So that's but you're going back to the other part though. You're right, and that was a big part too, a big moment seeing Wolverine and Nightcrawler talk the way they did, just to get more of a glimpse of an understanding of Nightcrawler and who he is. Yeah. And again, I mean, we already know, like we have these ideas, but to really continue to press on with him wanting to be peaceful, him wanting to do it in another way, and not necessarily just kill. And then again, it defined Logan even more, where he's just like, sorry, bub, like, no, I'm gonna cut some people.
it sets up for an emotional payoff more at the end because of this panel, which I appreciate. And maybe I like this page more than anything because this was the most Batman aspect of the entire book of like, I don't kill you got to kill, you're more than that, like
right
you have to be more than a symbol.
This bit, you mean?
It sets up like that conversation is, I mean, that is Jim Gordon and Batman if I haven't seen it, like totally. But it's a payoff for where Kurt's coming from, because he's the most, from my knowledge of X-Men, he's a religious person, and so like he deals with those inner demons a lot more than probably even Logan does. But man, I really appreciate that because it made me invest in the characters more because of that page.
Well, and then you get to see Sasha throw a knife and straight up kill some guy right after they had this conversation. I almost felt like there was a moment when Nightcrawler should have been like, "We just talked about this. What are you doing?"
It totally should have been.
It took like seconds. Like Nightcrawler did all this work and he stopped all these guys, and then she comes down there and she's like, "Oh, let me kill a guy."
That's the other thing. Like Nightcrawler does it in a way where he doesn't have to kill anybody. He's like, "See, guys, it can be done."
I wanted Wolverine to turn to Nightcrawler and go, "Wasn't me."
Yeah.
I didn't do it.
Oh man, that would have been great. They should have.
It's almost like Claremont could have just had like Sue, like as he wrote Sue in this, like, "I just cleaned up this house and you guys messed it up again." Like that was the exact. I just saved everybody and then you had to come in and kill somebody.
Yep. Hey, what's up, Nick?
So good. So then we find that Sue is able to rescue Reed. Storm is able to rescue Arkon, and now they've got to face down against the head of the Bardoon. He definitely coming running in here with his metal soldiers to fight us. And you got Thing hurling some guys around. Now apparently those pink lasers just bouncing off of him, not really bugging him. And Johnny lighting some fires. I guess that's really all he really can do. And I loved some of these panels with the Colossus just punching his way through the aliens. That one with Cyclops blasting the other one. Really, really love it. Some great stuff going here. And sadly, they get knocked out of the way, and now it's just poor Kitty Pryde versus the giant beast that they sent to kill them all. Which is why it said, "You're on your own. You're on your own, Kitty."
She handles, which I think she handles herself pretty well. Trying to get that wall to collapse on the guy. I think that was pretty smart move on her part. Even though this monster, it didn't ended up not doing anything to it, but she's trying.
She's trying to stay at phased, so it can't get to her, and so it can't stop her. So she's kind of
getting more creative with like how she's using her powers little by little. We're seeing that.
What do you think of this sequence here, Greg? With now that we're into the fight, which I think is the obviously where the issue shines for me.
I mean, obviously it does, because I feel like the setup, and I think someone even said it, like it feels like, Jackson Roy Kirk said, like it feels like Claremont's putting all his effort into the X-Men team and giving the FF a short side.
Absolutely,
it really did. It's kind of like, it almost feels like I'm forced to make this crossover for sales. And so I'm going to write who I've been writing all the time, because I feel like they're, again, all the pieces that we've really appreciated have been X-Men for it. And the Fantastic Four, like, it feels weird. So I might chalk it up to either Claremont didn't want to write it, with a Fantastic Four.
He might have wanted to just do another fun Arkon story, and they're like, you got to get the FF in there.
So I will chalk up a little bit to that, but I'll still have some issues with Chris here at the end, so I'll save that for later. But I liked what it did, and it almost is. There's an appreciation I have for 80 books. 80s, are they Silver Age?
No. That's considered
bronze.
copper, usually bronze.
81 would be bronze.
Yeah.
I feel like Silver Age and Bronze books, they still do what they just did in this panel with Cyclops and Kitty Pryde. They tell you what's going on. They tell you about the character. They tell you, like, if I'm not an X-Men person, I'm going, why is a blast going right through her? Like, why is she not dead? Like, and like they almost narrate and tell you, like, hey, she can phase through the beam. So as long as she does this, we're good. And as someone who, I feel like comic books nowadays, it's almost like if you don't know the character, they're like, well, we expect you to know this knowledge. But I feel like in the 80s, 70s, 80s, even early 90s, they're like, we're still going to tell you what you should know.
Yeah.
And I appreciate that, because
it's a balancing though, right? Because I mean, you don't want it to be so wordy where they're telling you what's happening in the panel with their work. Because sometimes I feel like that's my frustration with Silver Age, is they're like, the word bubble is telling you what you're seeing. Right.
It gets better
with all of his might, and I'm like, I can see it. He's swinging with all of it. Like, I don't need you to tell me exactly what I'm seeing. but you also need to be able to explain their powers to people who've never read it.
Right.
Before.
Or remind you like, hey, this is who I'm fighting, or this is who it is. Like, and you don't need it the whole time. But that one panel, I don't remember them mentioning that she phases any other time.
This is the first time that
but that's and it's right before she phases to make a big scene in the so like it was helpful. Like, and that's where you look at the art form where it's a very smart and very beautiful aspect of where Claremont is smart enough to go, look, I want an annual too is something that maybe people don't read enough. So like, hey, if I'll let you know that she can phase through because what I'm about to do is more important than a laser beam going through. I'm about to show you that she's going to phase through this wall and make it collapse. So like, that's where a writer is good, because where I give Chris props, because he doesn't oversell that. Like, he tells you it. So if you don't know, like me, you're like, oh, okay, cool. And then boom, you can move on.
Well, and then the action beats, like you're saying, work better.
Yep.
Yeah, I think that this era, and I'm just in general, like, I'm really enjoying the late 70s, early 80s stuff. Not even just X-Men, but like I'm reading Daredevil right now, and some of the Frank Miller stuff, and I'm finding myself really enjoying that. The more than the earlier stuff, the Silver Age. Of course, I love my modern stuff. You know, I'll always love that as well. But you know, in terms of just going back 20 plus years, I think that these late 70s, early 80s kind of stories for any, I mean, I'm about to get into more Doctor Strange and stuff like that too. Like, I think a lot of that just kind of, I don't know, it's in my comfort zone of it's not too much, but it also is enough that, like you're saying, Greg, like it does provide some information that I genuinely did want to know more about without overdoing it. You know, it's kind of that middle ground.
I think that's why I will say, and again, I haven't read a lot. I think that's why it's harder to get into X-Men books right now from someone who isn't following, because there's so many teams out there, and I think there are some young writers who just go, you should know who Thunderbolt is. That's not an X-Men, but you know, you should know who
you can't even pull an example out.
You should know who Tugboat is, and you know, Round Table and whatever. Like it, and I read, I go, I don't know who this is. Wait, should I know? So I appreciate that I think Chris has really crafted that well here.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, beware, Justin, because I know Frank Miller can get cringy as well in that era as well. The way he treats his ladies, so just watch.
That's what I heard. One thing too, I wanted to mention, going back to one, I think it's the page before this, but when Storm, I think it's Storm rescues Johnny and Ben, and the first thing out of Johnny's mouth is, was he
much obliged, gorgeous?
Like, was that how he was? Like, is he just like
he was always just like a giant gland?
Okay.
Always.
I still like. I'm gonna side with Justin. It's cringy though. Like, that's your sister,
right? Yeah. I just thought that was he's talking
to actual
Storm. Yeah. Okay, see, I'm confusing which I didn't see the panel, so I was.
But it was still like loose. It was
Storm
still
is shooting those lightning bolts.
Okay,
and breaking the bonds.
That's right, because
Arkon.
Sue Stormfreed read Stormfreed. Akon and all,
which is why they keep calling her Sue Richards. They don't refer to her as
Sue Storm. Akon, Greg.
Yeah, he's Akon. I'm gonna love you.
No, I'm not gonna get that out now. I'm always gonna say that.
I hope
I'm always gonna say that.
Well, I hear an Akon song in my head now. Thanks, Bearded.
Well, here we get Kitty Pryde about to get harmed by this creature, and you get Colossus just like losing his cool and beating the snot out of him and knocking him out of a window. And Kitty, I love the panel of Kitty like peeking over the crack in the wall and like, Peter, what happened? Yeah. And then of course he climbs back out. This is easily my favorite stuff in the whole issue.
Yep.
Just watching Peter lose it. Like we haven't seen him get enraged like this.
It's his berserker. Yeah, it's like him, his version of it.
And that red, the drawing of him in all the red, just so cool.
Yeah,
totally. I know you loved this. And you used it right up here above us.
Yeah. So that was definitely my favorite moment there. Peter, coming in, saving Kitty the way that he is, and Dex, this guy, like the way he's drawn there. Just love the whole pose. And then I also loved how like you see this like smoke and shadow, rising from after the two of them go flying, essentially. and you're kind of not sure who. And of course I read this first digitally, so I'm like swiping, and first you just see the dark shadow, and then you swipe again, you're not sure, like, who's that going to be? And of course, it's Colossus. So that is a cool set of panels that we see here. But definitely my favorite here for sure.
What about you, Greg? How would you feel about this?
Yeah, no, I definitely like it. I don't know much about Colossus, and I don't know much about Kitty Pryde. Her hiding, I felt maybe I was just reading so much of the other stuff. I was like, wait, why is she hiding? Isn't she an X-Men? Like, I didn't realize when I was reading she's 13. Like, so she's like
she's a trainee at this point, because
right.
she's only
I didn't
been in
realize
the comics
that. I'm like thinking in my mind,
a
like,
year.
Mhm.
She's
like,
been in the comics since issue 129, and now we're at 150.
Yeah, but in my mind, as a new reader, newer reader, at least to this, I was like, shouldn't she? Because I've read Kitty Pryde is the leader of the Marauders, right?
Right.
And I was reading the Marauders because I had interviewed Steve Orlando about that, and it was like, so my interpretation of Kitty Pryde is she's this BA leader that
it takes time for her to evolve
right,
into that,
and
for
so
sure.
I don't know this time frame of where she was at because I have no context, and I'm like,
right.
So I'm just like, wait, is he treating Kitty Pryde just like he's treating everyone else? So like,
no.
Bobby says, keep my girl's name out your mouth. I mean, I get it. Like, the challenge too, we discussed in an earlier show, Greg, is too, like, Colossus is significantly 8 years older than her. So the romance that they kind of hint at here is, by, I would even argue, 81 standards, a little odd, age-wise, that she's like 14, 13, he's 21, 20 something, it does seem a little bit off. But I also know he's a big brother. He's got a little sister, and there is an element of, I need to protect her to him that is in this moment as well. So I try to balance those two sides.
I get that, but man, page 39 of my digital reader begs to differ that she's a little sister's. Like,
yes.
So,
well, that's the shocking bit we'll get to here in a little bit.
So, like, I mean, I didn't want to say because you're going there, but I'm just like, oh no,
we're gonna get there. We're gonna get there.
I feel it, but
one thing to add though with Kitty, towards the beginning of this issue, when they're back in their pajamas, there is a moment where she actually asks Professor X if she's allowed to go, or she says, or do I get left behind again? And he kind of clarifies, and he's like, you're more than proving your worth now, Sprite. If Cyclops and Storm have no objections, then you have my permission. But again, it definitely was, to me, that was like that kind of giddy, like, can I go? Am I allowed to go now? Can I, type of thing. She even says, like, I am an X-Man, right? Like, can I do this now? Like,
totally. Because she's still on that cusp, in some ways.
Yeah.
So then they get into a brawl here with some of the henchmen. Lots of little fighting going on. And I even love that the boss is like, hey, wait, you didn't stop these guys? And then he shoots his own guy.
Yeah, this guy is nuts, man. This guy was just absolutely nuts. Yep.
Yeah, and then I love the panel of Wolverine going full claw, just shredding some of these guys. No more, hey, we don't kill anymore. Nightcrawler's like, there's too many of them.
We just gotta forget what I said.
No more pacifism.
Just do you, bro.
Yeah. It is a cool scene. I do like that where Wolverine's like claws are up in the air and stuff. Like, you can just like picture all that action, or like almost hear it,
And of course, you had to get a clobbering time from Ben Grimm. And it's clobbering time, and he's laying in on some of those guys.
That was a cool panel.
Again, Sue Storm, best FF member, saves everybody with the bubble. Like, let's protective bubble everybody. I love that Sue Storm is always the protector of the team and saves the day 9 times out of 10. Sue Storm to the rescue.
Yep. Even more later on as we get to there's a lot of things she's helped out with.
Any thoughts here, Greg, on any of these panels here, the big fight?
I mean, again, this is like Justin said earlier. This is where the book thrives, like in the fight panels and the, like the tattered outfits of everybody. Like, I mean, let's be honest. Colossus went from fully clothed to homie's buck naked except for his Speedo,
basically.
And so at least they're giving it both, male and female both.
Arkon, right? Arkon just wears his loincloth the whole time.
Right. So, I get it. He's Colossus's metal? Like, so
yeah.
Maybe that doesn't do it for you, but again, this is where it thrives: is the fight scenes, the interaction with the team as they're fighting. I think X-Men books that I've read, I've enjoyed when it's how does the team interact in the midst of a fight? Because it's hard to do, and I think if to do it well, and they do. I think they do it well here with Wolverine and Nightcrawler and Colossus, like. Kind of dealing with like, all right, here's what we're gonna do. Let's just get to it. So,
yeah, totally. Yep. All right, let's continue on because we're getting along here to the end. They come up with a solution. You got Colossus in the Speedo. You got everybody's outfits getting torn. They're getting crushed and they're doing all this. And then of course, Reed and Cyclops guiding a lot of the freeze this, heat this up, hold this, push that back. Let's make a thing to fire a blast from Cyclops and that'll hit the machine. And lots of things going on here. And not a lot of clothes. And but we saved the day. And Wolverine's shirtless checking on Nightcrawler and the weird guy with the crazy hat and chin beard says it's going to be okay. I don't know. I don't know what else to say except Ryan Gosling looks good naked. There you go. Anything else, Justin, that you want to add to this page?
Oh my goodness! I feel like you crushed this ending here, John. I loved this battle scene here at the end. To me, this was like Avengers type stuff. Seeing on the left the panel with Storm, not just Storm, all of them working together. Storm up in the top, in the left hand corner. You have Human Torch there, and both muscles pushing, trying to prevent these things from coming together, and then to see what's his name, Mr. Fantastic, Reed. I don't know how he is in again, I haven't read a lot of it, but I don't know if he does this a lot, but I loved his direction of things, and obviously he's not just, elastic or whatever, but that he has this, he's one of the smartest, humans on earth. It got to the point where I just read some of this stuff and I was just like, science. Okay. I get it kind of I get, whatever. I'm just going to go with what he's saying here. And it was fun. I thought it was fun to see how this all worked out and Sue playing a huge part and creating this tube,
Always.
And then of course Cyclops, which I know we have a lot of Cyclops haters here, but he had his part too, doing what he had to do to kind of take this thing out. And this is, it opened up the door for everybody else, the war to, kind of come in. So I felt cause that's the other thing we didn't really mention, but there's this war going on too. The rest of the Arkon's people come charging in now that the what do you call it? The gate is down or whatever. So, to me, this was end game type stuff, just a lot of stuff is what I guess what we're getting at. It's just a lot of different things going on, a lot of action parts to it. And this to me was epic. I really enjoyed this. And, so I like this a lot.
Greg, any thoughts?
Yeah, the ending felt to me of the three panels of Reed, I'm gonna do this, and then Sue, you're gonna do this, and then Cyclops, you can do this, and you can shoot a laser beam through my stretchy arm with the force field of my wife to hit this exact spot. Well, we have Han Solo and Luke Skywalker trying to save the day here, aka the Thing and Colossus in the trash compactor. Listen, if you're a female, you're going to be scantily clothed, and if you're a male not in human form, you're going to be scantily clothed in these books.
At least that's uniform now. It's It's everybody's on the page.
Reed Richard, the homie's outfit doesn't get touched. Colossus and Thing are dude, hey, we're rocking metal Speedo, bro. Let's do it. At least Wolverine doesn't have a shirt on. but he
There's some
basically has a wool sweater,
Greco-Roman
so it
wrestling going on there. That's the
Wolverine
next
has a
panel.
wool sweater on, so it kind of counterbalances that.
He does indeed. But the gloves last. His gloves lasted.
It's a classic ending of like, let's wrap this up in 3 panels in a completely random way, but
yeah,
it's science, Greg. It's science.
I get it, and I don't understand it, and maybe that's why I don't like Hickman's run, because he's smarter than I ever will be, and he's like,
this isn't Hickman. Don't worry. I wouldn't force you to do that. That's in a later season of the show.
Yeah.
I'm after this episode, I'm never being invited back.
So here we are on the last pages. The King Arkon back on the throne. Everybody's celebrating. They got new outfits. Apparently, Nightcrawler's now wearing looks like a skirt. It's all good. You rock, you brother. Arm wrestling between Colossus and Thing. And a young lady comes up to talk, and Colossus is like, nope, no more cute ladies. I got to focus. And then he's like, what? That's not a cute lady. That is actually Kitty Pryde. And he's like, wow, I never dreamed you were so beautiful. Like, he's never seen her as attractive, I think, up until this moment.
Right.
Awkward with the age difference. And we've discussed this repeatedly.
Yeah.
And it's something that can't really be retconned at this point, but frustrating. I do think, though, cool is the interracial smooch that we get on the far panel there, which was a big deal to have, Storm. It's very much in the vein of Captain Kirk kissing Uhura kind of a moment here. Storm kissing the king. What any thoughts on the love here at the end?
Yeah, you said Nightcrawler's wearing a skirt. What panel is that?
Yeah, that's the big splash page where it says the passing of the dream. You can see Nightcrawler's wearing it's basically like a Roman toga.
I thought it was
kind of thing.
I was see that makes sense. I was confused why Little Orphan Annie got put into the comic here at the end.
Gotcha. Yeah.
It makes sense now. It's Nightcrawler wearing Little Orphan Annie's dress. Okay.
And I do believe it's possible Colossus wearing something similar. We just can't see from the angle with the table.
They are literally on the planet of
odd historical mishmash.
Yeah, this is the panel of Colossus going, whoa, you're beautiful. Where I'm like, I didn't realize the age difference. So I'm like, what do you mean she's 13? Because my boy Colossus is definitely above 18. I assume.
Yes, he's in his 20s.
Yeah, he's like 21, 22.
And she's in her early teens.
Yeah.
Ooh, like,
yep.
Like
it's cringy.
This is where you can't get away with. Oh, he looks at her like a big brother to his little sister,
right?
But I do think this is the moment where that shifts. The shift doesn't work. But I think earlier it was more about protecting her, and now it's like, wait, maybe I like her, and that's awkward.
Yeah.
And I agree with this, Gore. She wasn't drawn like a 13-year-old. I think honestly it's just a mistake of clearly they wanted this to go a certain way. Claremont should have aged her up and not made her 13. It's just a flaw in the writing that I think looking back he probably would have been like, yeah, I wouldn't have made her 13. Because the funny thing is she's like 13 and 14 for many years in the comic. Like she just it's not like next year she's 15 and next year she's 16. That doesn't happen. She stays 14 for a good while.
Yeah.
This is the Simpsons. They are ever staying the same age.
Yeah.
Right. We're not going to get old woman Kitty at any point.
I like how Kitty was drawn in the Avengers Annual 10. I thought that was more accurate of a kid. Yeah. The other thing I was going to say, Greg, if you last issue that we had broken down with Haley is it's issue 150, X-Men 150, and there is another awkward moment very similar to this one where Colossus is drowning essentially, and she she's like helping resuscitate him or whatever, but it's like them, practically like a kiss on the first, time or whatever. I mean, she's trying to save his life. So it's like, but it's like, they were teetering with this, I
love how Justin hey, Greg, if you like awkward, relationships between a 27-year-old and a 13-year-old, check it out, bro. The issue right before this.
Yeah.
Same thing. Like if that's your thing, like if you like that inappropriate stuff, like check out this issue of X-Men.
I got something better for you.
I'm just saying this is like been going on. Like we've been getting a lot of this awkwardness over the the past like couple of issues.
Yeah.
Which makes it even worse.
It doesn't make it better. Yeah, it's problematic.
Yeah. On a plus side, I do like how Colossus is drawn there.
I do think this is where the art does shine. Yeah, these last few panels work way better for sure.
And I am a fan of Storm here and Arkon.
I do like that sequence
because it was kind of like I was waiting for that for the last time that they were kind of together, and we didn't really get that.
Dude, listen, Storm and Akon getting together, that was dope. That's why I was like, oh, are they? He is forever Akon to me. Like, I was confusing him with a city in Ohio calling him Akron, but now he's Akon.
Or Acorn. He could be an Acorn.
No, he's Akon. He's a popular 2000 rapper who was featured on every song for like 1 year and then disappeared from the face of the planet.
So that is it, Greg. Actually, let's go to Justin. Any final thoughts on the issue now that I've forced you through the ringer on this issue? And I did not in any way. I try not to tell Justin how I feel about the issues. Usually it's pretty fair, but like I knew this was going to be a buck wild ride. How you feeling about this? You okay? You come out this all right?
Yeah. No, I mean, I hear your points and definitely the I think those earlier pages were definitely, I mean, again, I didn't really read through that the first time, I feel like, or give it justice in the way that I probably did the rest of the issue. But I do feel that my favorite parts of this book start when they are essentially sneaking back in and we find out that these aliens are creeps, scumbags, and it all goes from there. Like, I feel like the story flowed a lot better from that point on. I was all in from that point on. And yes, I mean, some of this ending stuff is, at the end of a lot of these annuals, I feel like, they wrap it up in a page or two. And really quickly. Obviously all this other stuff with Kitty that we've talked about before, but it's all very awkward. But yeah, the action scenes and just seeing some of those moments with Colossus, I really liked. So I still stand by how I feel about this book overall. I still really enjoy it, and I will try to hunt a copy down at some point. I would like to own this for sure.
Complete the run.
Yeah.
So you're sticking with the 9.0.
Yeah.
Right.
Acorn and Young Easy, take it easy.
That's why Johnny Boy's my dude. He knows what's up.
Greg, any last thoughts here on this, brother? I apologize that we didn't have you read something incredible, something top shelf.
No, I feel like John was like, listen, this issue is gonna be buck wild. Let's bring Greg on.
That's legitimately fair.
Like, let's just make it like him go, I don't know about it. Again, I think if I could look past the parts that I was hung up on of how Sue Storm was drawn, the cringe-worthy stuff of Colossus and Kitty, which I didn't even know till y'all were talking. Like, you guys made me drop a ranking because of that.
now it's a 5.5.
If I could look past that stuff, like it was a fun issue when you got to the fight, like the Wolverine and Nightcrawler dynamic of like that page in and of itself saved the book for me. Of like it gave depth and it gave heart to those characters, and I think that's where I'm like, I want to know. I like that tension. I like that drama of like, why do you do what you do, and can you adjust to that, and can you focus in on, I'm not going to kill, or I am going to kill. And maybe that's why I like Batman so much. I like that dichotomy of like, should you, what's far, but like, if you don't kill these people, Joker's going to kill these people. And like, I like that tension. And I think Claremont writes it very well there. And I think the other stuff got in the way of that. I wanted more of what I got.
And it does feel like you mentioned earlier, like an editorial. Some of these things were kind of foisted in a certain way, but that he didn't rise above it.
Yeah, and I feel like if the editorial could step back and let Chris do what he needed to do to tell a good story, it would have been a lot higher for me.
All right, well, just because Daymare said this, and we've kind of started a segment where I have to read certain panels.
Oh, yeah.
He wants to hear Colossus's lines with a Russian accent because he says that they're creepier that way. So I'm going to go back here to reading it. So it says, first we got Thing saying, "Excuse me, sweetie, I know the real pretty and all, but this kids and me got a man's work to do." And
is that a Russian accent?
No, that's the Thing, dude. That's the Thing. He's a New Yorker. That's the Thing. That's Ben Grimm, dude. That's Ben Grimm. I'm setting it up before I get into the Russian accent.
I didn't mean to interrupt. I didn't mean to distract from your moment. I'm like,
shut your trap, American.
You not know the difference between Dolph Lundgren and Mark Wahlberg? Like, holy cow! Like,
pardon the thing's rudeness, miss. I will make him apologize directly after I've beaten him. Good luck, Colossus. Sorry, what is it? What does thing say here? And who else, Buster? You and who else, Buster? Warriors, ready, set. Kitty? I'll begin. Sorry. Kitty Katyana, I've never imagined you were so beautiful. And that's pretty much all he says, right? That's pretty much it. Right?
Well done, John. I will say
better, Greg. Come on.
it's better. It's better. Also, Old Wolf, stop telling me to pay attention. You just tuned back into the show. Shut up.
She's been drinking this whole time
for an hour. Don't come in here like, oh, pay attention, Greg. You haven't been paying attention. No.
For the record, John, during some of these scenes with let me go.
Sorry, you want me to blow that up here?
Yeah, with this guy.
Yeah.
Basically, anytime this guy was on screen, I just like pictured you reading this in like one of your voices. This was like the, what do you call it, from Dodgeball? You know, give this guy that voice, and that's like when he talks there at the end. Fantastic.
I sounded like Dracula, or I sounded like Colossus from the Deadpool movie. I mean, whatever. I mean, he did just say that he was not yeah. Whatever.
I guess I'm inferring that he made it like, "Well, you was beautiful." Like it was a creepier Russian accent than John's.
All right, well there you go. Let's get into the money info here because we'll get through this fast. This is the first and last romantic moment between Storm and Arkon. Sorry to ruin anybody who's shipping these two, but the X-Men have not seen Arkon since this book in 1981.
Damn.
Done. Colossus and Kitty continue to get more serious. Fantastic Four comic editors still don't know Sue is their best character. So those are some of the key elements to this book. You can get a 9.8 for $220 in fair market value, although there hasn't been a ton of sales because who is getting this book slabbed in a 9.8 other than the 96 numbskulls on the CGC census? There are also 79 sixes at $130 fair market value and onward down.
These are probably some of the lowest numbers that we've seen.
Right. I'm sorry, I'm going to skip out of there because nobody's worried about collectability on these issues because it's just some craziness all around.
Yep.
First off, Bobby says, excellent voice. I think you missed your calling as a voice actor, John.
Don't encourage him, Bobby.
Justin's been encouraging it. I've been trying to throw in a reading somewhere in this one, and shout out to Damaris on this one. We finish our show with the trivia questions because we're getting near to the end of this omnibus, and when we get there, we're gonna finish this series and season, and then do a big giveaway show where we give away a ton of great stuff, including a piece of original art that Justin had commissioned. Awesome piece by Nicholas Lane on Instagram. I'm giving away an X-Men mystery box that will be catered to the winner so that hopefully it'll have some fun books they may have missed or that they need, some things that they can laugh and enjoy. Last time I did it for Magic Lasso way ahead in the overall scorecard, so he has a shot of winning it again this year. Who knows? So we have 4 trivia questions based on last week's show over on No Good's channel. We have looking for a lot of answers. We want the first 2 correct answers, but we also want Greg to pick the funniest answer, and all 3 of those people are going to get a raffle ticket for every question. So 12 raffle tickets added to the overall list so that we can pull some names and give some prizes away somewhere near the end of May-ish, somewhere near that end of May.
It's gonna be May.
It's coming up. It's gonna be May. Yeah.
Get the memes ready.
So we got, sorry, I'm gonna get my water bottle. We got 4 questions. I'm gonna let Justin, you want to kick it off first with one of yours? You got one ready to go?
Yeah. All right. So first question, and again, remember this is all based on issue 150, last episode. So my question is, what did Magneto do to Charles Xavier while they were having their Psi War back in last issue when they were battle of the minds? What was it that Magneto did to Charles while this was going on? And remember, we're looking for 2 correct answers, 1 funny answer.
Yes.
So feel free to copy and paste or
I
get
don't know.
creative.
After reading this issue with the sexual undertones, I don't know. Want to know what Magneto did to Charles Xavier?
Dank, what is up? If you guys aren't following the Dank show, you're missing some very entertaining comic
Dank?
communities. So you really got to
Dank?
check in on Dank.
Dunk.
Let's see. He pushed him down the stairs. Azor says he pushed him down the stairs.
Here's the
That's
deal.
just me.
I won't know which are the funny answers and which ones are.
That's all right.
serious.
That's okay.
I'm like, oh, I was like, did he push him down?
If I'm highlighting it, they're the funny
They're
ones.
probably the funny.
We're
yeah.
not going to let we're going to wait till we have 2 correct answers.
Made him walk.
The screws were unscrewed. He touched his nose and said, boop. I think is what he meant, not poop.
Did he say poop or boop?
I think he meant boop.
Because it'd be
He-
funnier if he said boop.
He defeated him in a muscle flex pose competition.
I mean, Charles was ripped when we saw his astral body.
I don't speak French, so this is going to be a really tricky one to read. Or
Oh.
better yet, Tiquan's premier métier pour une frais de légion filet.
Pretty good. I would just go with it.
I mean, I'm just going along.
So
I think we have
I'm
one.
assuming the correct answer is he teleported his wheelchair to work.
It's, I mean, close-ish.
So I actually thought about I think we have 2 correct answers.
Okay, what do you want? What is your first one?
Really, because it's, we don't ever clarify how direct or vague we can get with this. So I'm actually going to give the first one to Tony Old Wolf.
Wolf.
Because yes, he did screws were unscrewed is correct. He did unscrew the chairs or the screws that were holding down the chair that he was that Professor X was in. And then
And then
Magic
Lasso.
Lasso. Yeah,
Okay.
the wheelchair or teleported his wheelchair. Yeah. So
He-
I'm going to give it to
He floated the wheelchair across to the island.
brought him all the way over to him. Yeah.
Okay, so I got Tony and I got Magic Lasso, and then what else do we have here? Any other fun ones? He thought he was Mr. Clean and asked him to clean up his lair.
His lair. His lair.
All I know is Professor Xavier is a jerk. It says AFPNC right there.
I mean, what's up, Comic Stash?
So, Greg, did you have any of those you liked?
I will say this. Y'all gotta step up your funny quota because it wasn't like
It was underwhelming.
it was I was left wanting more. So with that being said, like don't take this as a victory because but Azor's like he pushed him down the stairs, like I'll give you that. Like that's the best of the work.
Azor's.
Like you step up your game, chat.
Well, let me see if I can set them up here. In that episode or in that issue, Cyclops, who's been kept captive, has been without his laser vision goggle visor thing, and all of a sudden, in the middle of the fight, he pulls one out and puts it on. Where did he get it from? Yeah, hadn't had it for a few issues.
Teeing it up. He's teeing up. Hit it out.
Where
Let's go.
Where did he get that visor from?
Yeah, Azor, you want it, but you do got to step up your game. Like, I mean,
Earn it. I try to
That's
pick
like-
questions
that's like
that can
saying,
go
like,
in a lot of
oh,
comedic
like-
directions.
like Little Caesar's pizza is better than Chuck E. Cheese. Like they both suck, but like
So I got 2 correct answers. I've got Old Wolf because he perfectly said it. It's from the Emergany. What's an Emergany pack?
Ooh. I mean, he's not Chet, so I mean,
it's not
he's
Chet,
from
so I
he's
give
from
it.
Boston.
So
I
I'm
don't
gonna
even know
give
what
it-
that
I'm
was.
gonna
That was
give
like
it to you,
that was
brother.
like Paul Simon.
I'll
Was
give
like
it to
Paul
Old
McCartney.
Wolf.
They're like emergency.
And I'm gonna give it to. I feel like this is close enough. They were in this safety pack. It's an emergency pack, but that's close enough for
Yeah.
me.
that's
Suck
right.
it, Magic Lasso. You said it correctly, but John's not giving it to you.
I'm not. Comedy answers were Amazon. Where else?
I mean, that's
The
that's accurate.
knapsack backpack
nice, 62.
from the inner sleeve of Diana Ross's album. Same place Wolverine got his sandwich.
Oh,
And I think that's what we got so far. Any of those wowing you? I know Greg is still not chuckling.
Dang. Like,
Greg.
like this is. I've never wanted to imitate Will Smith and smack y'all so much. Like, this isn't a funny joke. Like, these aren't funny jokes. Like,
I like saying that. As hard as Greg.
Let's I don't know, gang, be better. Oh, I know the show's got to go on. Boom, Cyclops Speedo. I like it. It's better. Gang, listen.
That one's disturbing though.
Pulled it out of his A. I mean, that's not so great.
Be better.
Okay, well, we're back over to Justin. Let's see what they can do, Justin.
All right. My second question is, what did Wolverine do to Cyclops' girl Lee when he first saw her on the island?
What did he do when he first Wolverine bumping into Cyclops' new lady friend? And what does he do?
Gang, come on. This is comedy gold. It's
I told you, we try to set it up.
You set it up when Cyclops pulled it out of what? And then I'm like, this is what I got. Like, gang, be better. You got this. I have faith.
What did Wolverine do to Lee when they first met up at the island?
I will say we're going to end this kind of quickly when we're done here because I got another show starting in like 5 minutes here.
Oh, dear. Oh, shoot. Okay. Good to know.
TJ, the Slab Dragon, is revealing the grades on 7 books he got back from CGC. Some
nice.
banger books, and I get to host him. So I'm
cool
doing that.
Very cool.
All right. We have 2 people saying he smelled her or he sniffed her.
He sniffed her.
Is that the actual correct answer?
No, the correct answer is threw her in the water from
I was going to say, like, those are both the correct answer. Lefty Blues gets it because he sniffed her. I was like, that's funny.
Oh, he likes that one.
I will say this, but I spoke quickly because Daymers would have been right there underneath with his comment.
Laid in bed, and
I saw that afterwards. I was like, ooh.
So Lefty wins again. Lefty's winning.
I mean, I don't think I can, but I technically want to give it to Daymers because it's funnier.
Greg, jumping the gun here.
I can throw it in for Daymers.
John's like, I gotta end the stream.
Stop.
So like, I'll just pick a random one that's not as funny. Like, he sniffed her.
I'll hook up Daymers. I got Daymers. I appreciate you, Adam. All right. So is it my turn? Last question, right?
Yeah.
Okay. After reading this issue, what does Wolverine have in common with Mama Cass, the singer?
They both choked on a ham sandwich.
See, setups are happening.
Boy.
What does Wolverine have in common with Mama Cass?
Can I put myself down for funniest comment? My comment.
It could be a lot of things.
By the way, as people are going to be guessing, next week when we're on my channel, we are talking Marvel fanfare. Is that right, John? We're getting into the Marvel fanfare stuff, right?
Yes, next week is the Marvel fanfare.
So issue 1. So anybody that's continuing to read on with us here, we are changing gears just a little bit with Marvel fanfare issue number 1.
And we got
Spider-Man.
Verno is joining us.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Cool. Very cool. The Cerebros. So that'll be good.
They both have a tremendous singing voice. They both get referenced in Lost. The correct answer is a sandwich. Yes, both of them have a love for sandwiches. So I'm gonna get Old Wolf in 62 beat you.
That's
Greg.
actually legit. I got X-Men trivia. I was trying to be funny.
So I wasn't joking. Last week we joked about a ham sandwich a ton. The fact that they were flying in to attack Magneto, and Wolverine goes to make a sandwich. Then the ship gets under attack. Wolverine's not buckled in. He starts floating around the ship, and he crashes into Storm, hits her in the head.
Who's flying the whole thing?
Because he wanted to get a sandwich in the middle of the fight.
The entire book would have been solved if there was no if Wolverine just ate before.
Sandwich. It's all sandwich. Right, we also have they both weigh 800
sandwich
pounds.
Isn't the joke answer? It's the correct
no, it's the correct answer.
The correct answer.
They both passed, gassed, and blamed Cyclops. They both had unbreakable bones. They both loved heroin. John, you're supposed to be somewhere else.
So my favorite comment, my funniest comment is JP's comment, thinking you actually are going to be on time for something. That you're
That's fair. That's fair. JP's doing pretty well on this.
Put in for the funniest comment.
There you go.
Nice.
Huge thank you to you, Greg, for talking shenanigans and reading an X-Men annual from 1981.
Thanks for having me. I know I'm never going to be invited on.
This is not true. There's no
we're
shame.
definitely having you back.
I totally agree with a lot of your assessment on this book. It was fun to make you read it. That was part of the joy for me.
I had no problem reading it. I also was really glad that it inspired me to watch Stargate because I forgot how much I love that movie.
See, there you go.
I got the action figures.
Something good came out of this.
I mean, they literally said Stargate 6 times. It was subliminal messaging.
They did say, yeah.
Read it, Greg. Watch the movie. Watch Kurt Russell in his flat top again.
I mean, all I really need to do, George, is get my glass with some ice in it, and that's really, and then I'm good to go.
Not bad.
So thank you to you guys all for hanging in the chat. We're back on Justin's channel for some Marvel Fanfare issue number 1 next week. So hope to see you all back here for that.
Read Gore's comment. Read Gore's comment before you close.
Greg, does this mean John will have to read a Batman book on your channel?